Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. Recently something huge took place that signals the coming of a cashless society. Some people call this the mark of the beast, while others philosophize and theorize on what the mark of the beast actually is. Many people, it seems, don't believe this has anything to do with technology. I see a lot of people theorizing that the mark of the beast really is Islam, or it's your lack of faith, it's your credit cards, it's the Bible. I've seen it all. What I want to show you here in this video is definitive proof. This beast system is ready for a technological takeover. Not just of your money, I mean a technological takeover of humanity. I'm just going to read a little bit of this story right here inside the secret meeting where Wall Street tested digital cash. And this is just the beginning. I want to show you some other things, some other connections I've found throughout the years that have brought us to this point. Recently, more than 100 executives from some of the world's largest financial institutions gathered for a private meeting at the Times Square office of NASDAQ. They weren't there to just talk about blockchain, the new technology some predict will transform finance, but to build an experiment with the software. By the end of the day, they had seen something revolutionary. US dollars transformed into pure digital assets, able to be used to execute and settle a trade instantly. That's the promise of a blockchain, where the cumbersome and error-prone system that takes days to move money across town or around the world is suddenly replaced with an almost instant certainty. The event was created by Chain, one of many startups trying to rewire the financial industry, with representatives from NASDAQ, Citigroup, Visa, Fidelity, Fiserv, Pfizer, and others. The event marked a key moment in the evolution of blockchain, notable both for what was achieved as well as how many firms were involved. The technology's potential has captivated Wall Street executives because it offers a way to free up billions of dollars by speeding transactions that currently take days, tying up capital. But a huge piece of that puzzle is transforming cash into a digital form permanently. And while some firms have conducted experiments, the Chain event showed a large number of them are now looking jointly at new solutions. So I actually had a personal experience with this recently, just over the last few weeks. I don't know about you folks out there, but I bank with Citibank, and I've been with them for almost 10 years. A few weeks ago, I was at the grocery store. I made it all the way through the line. I had all my bags there. The person that was working there had rung everything up. When I gave her my Citibank card and she tried to charge it, it was declined. So I asked her to try it again, and of course she did, and it was still declined. So here I was, that guy in the grocery store that can't pay for the groceries. So I immediately put my head down and walked out as quick as I could. I got home and I called my bank. I asked them what was going on, and they told me that they had mailed me a new card. And I said, well, I never got it, plus why would I need a new card? The one I have right now doesn't even expire for another year and a half. She said, no, this card has a chip in it. I was like, oh, the chip, okay. So I just got news a few weeks ago that I'm getting a new card with one of these chips in it. And then just yesterday, that story came out about all these financial institutions meeting up and looking into digital currency. And of course, one of those institutions happens to be Citibank, my bank. So I have no doubt that there's lots of you out there, regardless of your bank, are either dealing with the situation right now or it's going to be happening to you very soon. It's another reason I wanted to make this video and show you some of the things I want to show you. Because they really are preparing us, and they've been preparing us for this digital takeover for a very long time. So in my research on this subject, I found countless news articles, much like this one right here, and I'm not going to share every single one, obviously. If you're interested, just do a search out there and you'll find plenty of stories about how this technology is invading every single aspect of our lives. But of course, oftentimes, whenever we see these stories in the mainstream, they're fairly innocuous, right? Doesn't really seem like that big a deal. Man uses microchip implanted in hand to pass through airport security. It's like, oh wow, it's just some dude just put a microchip in his hand, and it's neat, it's a cute story. But once this system is fully in place, everybody will be using microchips in one form or another to pass through security and to perform any other function they want to in society. Now, I believe one of the most important pieces to this puzzle was the story right here. And this really kind of flew under the mainstream. You didn't hear a whole lot about it, but Google's Eric Schmidt met with the Pope Francis, at the Vatican. There was a video report from the TV news agency that actually showed the pontiff shaking hands with Schmidt and Jared Cohen, the director of Google Ideas. Schmidt said to Francis, "I want to work with you to make these points. We will make it happen." The Pope responded, "Pray for me, don't forget." And the article here says it's still not known what exactly the two were referring to. Well, I think I might have some idea. So here's a book from Google's Eric Schmidt and Jared Cohen, The New Digital Age, Transforming Nations, Businesses, and Our Lives. Are you beginning to see the connection here? And these guys went to Rome and met with the Pope. And many of us realize that the Pope himself is a false prophet, if not the false prophet. It really makes one wonder what exactly was taking place in this meeting. I personally feel it has a lot to do with the coming cashless society and the so-called mark of the beast, especially considering how the Pope is connected with Agenda 2030. And of course, Agenda 2030 is nothing new. It's really just a brand new disguise for Agenda 21, which is already in full effect all around the globe. It's just another example of how they're bringing virtual reality in to every aspect of our world, every aspect of our reality. National Football League, it's no longer just a bunch of guys putting on pads and throwing a ball around and hitting each other. Now it's all about social engineering. The story right here, virtual reality tested by NFL as a tool to confront racism and sexism. Virtual reality can bring us to the top of Mount Everest, but Stanford University researchers believe it can conquer an even steeper challenge, racial and sexual discrimination. Feeling prejudiced by walking a mile in someone else's shoes is what VR was made for, says Jeremy Belnson, director of Stanford University's Virtual Human Interaction Lab. Its diversity training scenarios, which aim to engender empathy, have attracted interest from one large organization, the National Football League. The NFL is in the early stages of determining how it will use the new technology to train league staffers and players on understanding bias. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But we've seen this with the NFL in the past as well. It's all about social engineering. Like I said, it's not just a game, right? Here's just one example from a while back. NFL football players wearing pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, of course, that's the official story. It's for breast cancer. Me personally, I think this ties back into the LGBT agenda and more of the emasculation of men, or anything really related to anything manly, right? Traditionally manly. Then, of course, you had this story too. The NFL threatens Atlanta's Super Bowl bid over anti-gay bill. This Beastʻ system is using the NFL, among all kinds of other tools, to teach us lessons, to social engineer the people. And of course, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame is getting involved in all this stuff as well. Very interesting story here. It looks like he's planning to steal our brains. Picture of Zuckerberg and 5,000 devoted, quote, zombies wearing virtual reality headsets triggers online ridicule and fear. Says it has been compared to a zombie apocalypse. 1984, which of course is the novel from George Orwell, all about dystopian future society, a New World Order society, and also The Matrix. It says here, it may look like a scene from a dystopian sci-fi movie, but this image is, in fact, a glimpse at our future. It shows Mark Zuckerberg breezing past rows of devoted followers, each plugged into virtual reality headsets, while he looks on with an unnerving smile. The haunting photo was taken at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and has since triggered a stir on social media. That is a fascinating picture to me. I mean, you'd see something like this in movies from the 1950s that were trying to predict the future. This is the kind of thing you might see back then, right? But the future is now. This is exactly what the Beastʻ system wants everybody plugged in, right? Literally plugged in to that digital Antichrist age. And of course, perversion is going to be a part of this system as well. Interesting story here. Virtual reality sex suits are finally here. Of course, Oculus is getting in on the action. Oculus unveils Crescent Bay prototype virtual reality headset. I wanted to share this with you for a very obvious reason, at least obvious to me. Because all the stuff we're talking about is about this new world order, this coming fifth age, age of the Antichrist. We see all these different elements coming together. This Mark of the Beast idea, technology there, virtual reality. Transhumanism is a really big part of this stuff as well. Programmable matter. So we shouldn't be surprised that we find one of the most common and obvious signs and symbols of this Beastʻ system right here on this virtual reality headset. Anytime we're looking into these symbols and whatnot, we always need some form of confirmation. Sure, sometimes an eye is just an eye and a pyramid is just a pyramid. But in this case, I think it's very obvious. The all-seeing eye that's Illuminati symbolism 101 type stuff, right? At this point. And it's connected to this virtual reality system that we know that in a larger part, it will play with this Beastʻ system, this coming technological takeover. It should be no surprise we find the sign of the Beastʻ system on the Oculus, the all-seeing eye. We've been getting set up for this system for many years. I just want to show you a few examples of this. It's social engineering, right? Or it's also, in this case, predictive programming. They're going to show you all the things to come before they come. And they'll show you in the form of entertainment, oftentimes. Avatar, the movie, is a prime example. And this right here is exactly what I'm talking about. You may remember this. There was a lot of stories that came out whenever Avatar, the film, was released, of people leaving the theater crying, suicidal. It says here, CNN says today that the 3D effects in Avatar are so intense that some people go home depressed and even suicidal because they would rather be living in the world from the movie. So you can see right here that when all this stuff comes out, right, not only will the public accept it, they're going to embrace it. They're going to chase after it. There are going to be millions upon millions upon millions of people that fall for this technological takeover. And this is where the predictive programming has led us. Google funds creation of secretive avatar-style virtual reality. And we already know that the people want this, right? Google is funding a secretive project that will use millions of linked computers to create an avatar-like virtual reality world in which people could live, interact, and even have sex. So once again, this isn't just some movie you go watch, guys. This is our reality. And this is just one example of how they condition us to accept these things once they're here. And I could have profiled dozens of different commercials showing this technology, right? But of course that would take too long. If you're really interested, all you have to do is just go to any search engine or any image search engine and just look up RFID in movie, RFID in commercial, whatever. And you'll start to see just how often this stuff is right in front of our face and how we're so used to it at this point. I think most of us just kind of forget about it, right? And that's all a part of the plan. But I will show you a couple other examples here. It's not always just the RFID tick that they're putting in these commercials, movies, and TV shows and everything else. A lot of times it's just as simple as the actual 666, right? It's the mark of the beast, the 666. And this is another one of those symbols we find time and time again in all kinds of commercials. That's Ellen DeGeneres there in the back, and this is a J.C. Penney commercial, and you clearly see right there front and center the 666. I know a lot of people covered this one, I did as well, but it's another obvious example. This is from Verizon. Once again, right here in the center, what do you see but the obvious 666? And then, of course, there's tons of occult symbolism all around Red Bull, the energy drink, right? But beyond that, this is from one of their commercials, and of course, what do you see here? That's right, the 666, once again. Another example of how they're literally getting everything in this world ready for this technological takeover. Digital pills now, right? Digital pill with chip inside gets an FDA green light. Now this right here is from a music video that really blew me away, how obvious it is what they're doing in this video. Now again, it's a music video. Most people, I accept, don't have the eyes to see this stuff or the ears to hear. But this whole music video is all about the mark of the beast. If you take a look at the lady right here on her right shoulder, you'll see the symbol that they use in this video for the so-called mark of the beast. It's interesting because it's a pyramid standing right side up, connected to the base of another pyramid that's upside down. So of course they're going to choose a representation of as above, so below for this music video that is all about the mark of the beast. Here's a couple of the other ladies from the music video. You see the young girl on the left-hand side. You can see on her left shoulder, she also has the mark of the beast. Now the girl on the right, she has it as well. You just can't really see it right here. So it's really interesting the way the video plays out. It's very subtle, alright? But there's only a few people in the video that have the so-called mark. Now all the people in this video that don't have that mark are portrayed as these kind of backwoods, small-town hicks, right? These kind of dirty, the unwashed masses. They're not a part of this new system. I'm going to show you more of that in just a second. And here's another example from the video of one of the people that don't have the mark, right? So again, you see this girl, they got her in no makeup, wearing really drab clothes. But at the end of the video, all the people that have this mark on them are at a concert, right? They're all dancing and they're laughing and they're vibrant, they're beautiful, and they're having the time of their lives. These are the people that have the mark, and these are the people that don't. Now I think it speaks for itself. So once again, just an example of how this stuff is constantly put out there in front of us. Oftentimes subliminally, at least, to the masses, right? But there are pockets of us all over the place who get this kind of stuff and see this and understand it and know what they're really trying to say. The Illuminati, the elite, the powers that be, the secret governments, whatever label you want to give these people at the top of the pyramid. They want a world of zombies. The technology itself isn't a bad thing, but judging by all these trends we're seeing, to me, it's very obvious that they want to use it to enslave us. So that's all I have for you folks. Thanks for checking out the video. Stay aware out there. Take care, and I'll talk to you real soon.